Hello, friends. Let's talk about people's resistance against British before 1857. It is very important, uh, things to talk about people's resistance against British before 1857, precisely because 1857 is a marker where what we see that people of India by and large are involved into the battle against the British Empire. Earlier, it was the kingdoms and nawabs who were kind of fighting and resisting, whether it was the Anglo-Mysore War or Anglo-Sikh War or Carnatic Wars, where even British and French and British Portuguese, they were fighting. But 1857 is a time where people, by and large, supported the cause of independence, or at least certain kind of consciousness started kind of brewing in the Indian subcontinent, and people started thinking about strategies to oust the British East India Company from India's landscape. So in a way, let us take the stock of that. What was some of the resistance prior to 1857 against the British, so that when we talk about 1857, it doesn't hang in between, and we are familiar with much of the events before 1857 in terms of resistance. Again, as I said, that most of us think that 1857 revolt was the first major show of resentment against the British, who were represented by the rule of the East India Company. However, there were many incidents before the 1857 revolt that indicated all was not well, and that there was a building, resentment against the alien rule. This resentment manifested itself in several bouts of resistance by different groups of people in different regions of India. In the context of people's resistance against the British rule, uh, you know, uh, the very important word is people. What people means here? What people encompasses? It encompasses several sections of the Indian society who were affected by the alien rule. The peasants, artisans, tribals, ruling classes, active or dispossessed, military personnel, those who were serving the company, as well as the demobilized soldiers of ex-rulers, right? Religious leaders, Hindu and Muslims, etc., fought for the protection of their interests at time, separately and at times together. The agitation in Banaras in 1810 against a house tax imposed by the colonial government, the Surat riots in 1814 against the salt duty, the rising in Bareilly in 1816 against police tax and municipal taxes are some examples of urban movements in which people from lower strata like artisans, petty shopkeepers, and the urban poor fought together with the prosperous urban gentry. The interests of these resistances differed in the sense that each sections had different grievances but converged on a common objective to end the British rule. According to Pipan Chandra, uh, people's resistance took three broad forms, and we will be adding another forms later on. But three broad forms or types of the people's resistance are civil rebellions, which may be called as civil uprising, tribal uprising, and peasant movements. In addition to these forms of resistance, is the military revolts as a form of people's resistance, which involved Indians employed in the company's forces to make the study of people's resistance more comprehensive. Right. So, in a way, addition to civil rebellions or civil uprising, tribal uprising, and peasant movements, military revolts or mutiny could be added as a fourth forms of people's resistance. Now, what was the genesis of people? So why people were resisting? What was the genesis? What was the beginning? What was the factor which led to people's uprising, or civil uprising, right? As we know that pre-colonial India, people's protests against the rulers and their officials were not uncommon, right? When we are talking about pre-colonial India, means that we are talking even prior to the establishment of the East India Company, right? And I mean, it was not uncommon. People were protesting against the rulers. High land revenue demand by the state, corrupt practices, and hard attitude of the officials being some of the instigating factor. I mean, the local rulers, when they were levying taxes, I mean, people were protesting against them. It's not something like, the people were not resisting or not protesting. But the establishment of colonial rule, in a way, and its policies had a much more annihilative effect on the Indians as a whole. There was no one to hear their grievances or pay attention to their problems. The company was merely interested in extracting revenue. The colonial law and judiciary safeguarded the interests of the government and its collaborators, the landlords, the merchants, and the moneylenders. Thus, the people left with no option choose to take up arms and defend themselves, right? So, I mean, when there was no mechanism, I mean, local rulers were at least hearing out the grievances, right? But the only motive of the British Empire, the only motive of the East India Company, the only motive of British Raj was to generate revenue by extracting the resources, by sucking the moisture from India and raining somewhere else, right? And addition to that, the condition of the tribal people are not different from those of the people living in the mainland, but the encroachment by outsiders into their independent tribal polity, that, I mean, their habitus, their home, the abode, right? That tribal population gets disturbed, right? And this kind of encroachment made them more aggrieved and violent. What were the causative factors for people's uprising? Colonial land revenue settlements, heavy burden of new taxes, eviction of peasants from their lands, and encroachment of tribal lands. These are the factors. Exploitation in rural society, where there were intermediaries who were collecting taxes, tenants, moneylenders, expansion of revenue administration, promotion of British manufactured goods. I mean, the local industry, the domestic industry, handloom, handicraft industries, they started suffering because of the advent of the manufactured goods coming from abroad, right? And of course, the taxation on the local industries by the British Raj, that in fact led to the resentment, destruction of indigenous industries. Of course, because of the introduction of the cash crops, that led to the peasants started getting kind of angered, right? End of patronage to priestly and scholarly classes, foreign character of the British rule. Right. So, civil uprisings, I mean, if we'll see the list of civil uprisings before 1857, will be, our mind will be blown that, it's a list of civil uprising, where that also simply means that people had certain kind of, in the sense of that what in contemporary time it is manifested, but people had understanding that they have to have the feeling of oneness together, in terms of either patriotism or in terms of solidarity, right? And that led to the people uniting together to fight against the British Raj. The word civil here, again, as we defined that what people encompasses, the word civil encompasses everything which is not related to defense military. So there's a different segment I mean this classification altogether. But there we have included those uprisings, which were generally led by deposed native rulers, former zamindars, landlords, polygars, right? In south of India, we have a holders of territory or palayam, consisting of a few villages granted to them by the rulers, mainly the nayakas, in return for military service and tribute, right? Ex-retainers and officials of the conquered kingdoms, or sometimes by religious leaders, right? So, starting from 1763 to 1800, it's a long time of 27 years that what we see the sannyasi revolt in Bihar and Bengal, where it is also called fakir revolt. Where people like Majnu Shah, Musa Shah, Bhavani Pathak, Devi Chaudhrani. Devi Chaudhrani is the very important leader, rather the very beginning of the women's involvement into the freedom struggle. It starts from the Devi Chaudhrani, right? And the very charges that women did not participate into the freedom struggle, from Devi Chaudhrani to Rani Lakshmi Bai to Begum Hazrat Mahal, to many women, stood with the freedom fighters, and shared the stage. Rebellion in Midnapur and Dalbhom in Bengal, again, where excuse me, Damodar Singh, Jagannath Dhal, etc., contributed, immensely in generating, consciousness, right? And revolt of Mohammaris in the eastern part of Assam, and parts of present Bangladesh, where Krishna Narayan was important leader. Civil uprisings in Gorakhpur, Basti, and Bahraich in Uttar Pradesh, where the heavy taxation were introduced in these regions, and British Raj wanted to extract revenue to fund the wars in Europe, and for that, they were introducing several sort of taxation in 1780s. uh, Revolts of Raja of Vizianagaram, again, was supported by his subjects. Revolt in Bedanur in Karnataka, revolt of Kerala Varma, who was popularly known as Paresi Raja. 1797 to 1805, Kerala Varma was at the forefront against the British Raj. Kerala Varma did oppose the influence of the Tipu Sultan, the king of Mysore, but they did not want British either. Civil rebellion of Awadh in eastern Uttar Pradesh, Wazir Ali Khan, or who is known as Vizier Ali, equally fought against. In the tribal belt, we see uprising in Ganjam and Gumsur, but it is a civil uprising as well. Uprising in Palamau, Polygus revolt, revolt of Diwan Velutampi, disturbances in Bundelkhand, Parliament Kimedi outbreak, Kutch rebellion, rising at Bareilly, right? Where we see in Bareilly, Mufti Muhammad I was a religious leader who resisted against the municipal tax, and in fact called for religious jihad against the huge taxation policy, which was unjustified. Upsurge in Hathras in Aligarh and Agra in Uttar Pradesh, Paika rebellion, Waghera rising, Ahom revolt in Assam, Surat salt agitation, in Gujarat, where people attacked Europeans, by the locals basically attacked, where there was a increase in salt duty. Gadkari revolt in 1844, revolt of Sawantwadi. Wahhabi movement in Bihar, Bengal, Northwest Frontier Province was very popular, where Sayyid Ahmad of Raebareli was leading the movement, which is also one of the Islamist revivalist movement. Kuka movement in Punjab, which was a religious movement, of course, started by Bhagat Jawahar Mal, transformed into political one. Ram Singh, a noted leader, deported to Rangoon after 1872. Uh, Peasants movement, if we see, prior to 1857, there's this movement called Narkelberia uprising in 1831 in Bengal, where Titu Mir inspired the Muslim tenants in West Bengal against Hindu landlords, right? But this was also to some extent where the East India Company was forcing the Muslim tenants, and in a way that was a policy of divide and rule. Pagalpantis, in Maman Singh district, Bengal, Karam Shah Izzat Tipu rose against Zamindars. Faraizi revolt in Eastern Bengal, Shariat Allah, son of Dadu Mian, was the founder of the Faraizi movement. Bhopala uprising in 1836-1854. So peasants were equally at the forefront in fighting against the East India Company and the British Empire. Now let us see the tribal revolts and how tribal contributed in generating immense kind of force against the East India Company. Pahadiya's rebellion, Rajmahal Hills, in 1778, to Chuar uprising in Midnapur, Bengal, coal mutiny in Palamau, Manbhum, where Buddha Bhagat was important leader, Ho and Munda uprising in Chota Nagpur, which this Munda uprising again, in the post 1857, arose, where we see that Birsa Munda is one of the leader who inspired and has been inspiring the tribals, generation, many generations and many generations to come. Santhal rebellion, again in Bihar, Sidhu and Kanu were important leaders. Khond uprisings in the hilly tracts extending from Tamil Nadu to Bengal. Koya revolts in eastern Godavari, Bhil revolts in Khandes, Dhar, Malwa, western Ghats in southern Rajasthan, Koli risings in western Ghats, Ramosi risings in western Ghats, Khasi uprising in hilly regions between Garo and Jantia hills in Sylhet, and of course the Singhfos rebellion, Assam Burma border, Nirang Pidu led an uprising in 1843. Now, lastly, as we added from the three broad forms of the uprising, civil uprising, to the peasants uprising or peasant movements, to the tribal movements. Lastly, we have a sepoy mutinies. So, prior to even 1857 Gadar or mutiny or revolt, that what it is called as, they were ex-army officials or within the even infantries, sepoys, the sipahis, they were kind of revolting against their bosses. Vellore mutiny in Vellore, Tamil Nadu, mutiny of 47th Native Infantry Unit in 1824, revolt of Grenadier Company in 1825, Assam mutiny in Sholapur, mutiny of 34th, 22nd, 66th, and 37th Native Infantry, in fact, is an exemplary of mutinies led by sepoys who were recruited within the British, armies, but they revolted against the injustices, led by, East India Company. So I stop here, and we will see a revolt of 1857 in the coming lectures. So hope you all are enjoying. Have a good day. Thank you.